breaking down the safeties. What is up, AFC East? Today we are breaking down the safeties. This one seemed to be a difficult one. The AFC East has some pretty good safeties. But before we jump into that, you can see right here, I'm slowly but surely, don't call me Shirley, fixing it up. I got that new metal logo. You see the Merino jersey here. You see the Duper jersey here. Both of these framed jerseys have autographs. I'm sprucing this up behind me. I also have a cool pendant one you beautiful human beings gave me. Got a ton of autographs over there. Slowly but surely. And I'm also getting a new PC. Gonna update a lot of things. So get ready for the new season. Get ready for a new background. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about the safeties. I'm going to be ranking the safeties. Then we have special teams, and then the AFC East rankings are done until the end of the season when I recap them and see if anyone went up, down, all that good stuff. So, and then also a comment of the day is a very good comment that involves the offensive line. But let's jump into this. Like I said, ranking these safeties was difficult. This might have been one of the more difficult positions that I had to rank. Other than, the other positions like the offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, corners, even kind of the front seven were kind of easy to me, even though I always said difficult. The quarterback was a little bit more difficult, especially with Tua and Mac Jones. But this one was difficult. Now, I'm going to give you the stats. I'm going to tell you, and again, if I'm talking, if I rank your team and you're like, actually, Doug, that he's not going to be our starting safety, it's going to be so-and-so, please let me know. Comment below, let me know. But this is what I'm going off of. I'm going to just be talking about the two starting safeties, free and strong. I'm going to give you some stats. I added sacks and stops into the stats that they had last year. And I'm going to tell you why I ranked them where I ranked them. So we're going to go 4-1. And let's jump into this mammoth jam. So my number 4 team is going to be the New York Jets. They are rocking with Joyner and Whitehead. Joyner didn't play last year. He got injured after the Carolina Panthers game. He didn't play all of 2021. There's not many stats for me to go off of. He's a decent safety when he stacks up against the other safeties in the AFC East. Again, that's why I had them 4th. And then Whitehead last year, he had 2 interceptions. He allowed 68.4% of his receptions off of 57 targets, allowed 2 touchdowns. The opposing quarterbacks had an 84.4 passer rating when throwing at him, 5 pass breakups, 41 stops. And what I mean by stops is, in the backfield, you can make a tackle for, the run, stops, all that stuff. 41 stops, no sacks, but he was really good at making the tackles and not allowing progress on certain plays. So good on him. I have him 4th. I have the Jets 4th. One Joyner's coming off of an injury. We'll see if he can play at the level that he needs to for this upcoming year. And I think that the rest of the teams have a better safety tandem. Then my number 3, and some people might be like, you have them 3rd? But it's the New England Patriots. You got McCourty and you got Duggar. McCourty last year, 3 interceptions. He allowed 50%, like a good, even like 50% reception on his 24 targets. Didn't allow a touchdown, though. So the passer rating here, 31.8 passer rating when he was targeted. I looked at him. Some of them, again, if you go on PFF, they kind of show the games and the passer rating, and some of them, there was no passer rating, like he wasn't even targeted, and some he was, and it was like a 30, some games he gave up 114 passer rating. But when you took the average of them, it was 31.8 passer rating. He had 8 pass breakups, only 2 stops. He was probably more of a safety in the backfield, and 0 sacks. So again, he wasn't a type of safety that's going to get up at the line of scrimmage and, blitz and try to make run stops and all that stuff. But Duggar, on the other hand, he was one of those safeties. 4 interceptions, a 67.3 reception on, I didn't put his targets down. Good job on you, Doug. 4 touchdowns, though, allowed, 75.4 passer rating when targeted, 1 pass breakup. Again, 32 stops, so he was more of a, line of scrimmage type of safety, more of a thumper. No sacks. The reason I have them third and the reason I have the teams ahead of them is I like the tandem, and especially the teams that I'm going to be talking about, like the Dolphins. Javon Holland, very young, up and coming, and the rookie season he had, just for me, that's what edged it and made them, either 1 or 2 above the New England Patriots. Now, my number 2 team is, in fact, the Miami Dolphins. Javon Holland last year, 2 interceptions, 54.5 receptions off of 22 targets. So a little over half of the time he was targeted, he allowed a reception. He allowed 4 touchdowns, and 88.6 passer rating when targeted, 6 pass breakups, 11 stops, and 3 sacks. Brandon Jones, now I think it's going to be Javon Holland and Brandon Jones as the tandem back there, but we still do have Eric Rowe on the team. But Brandon Jones had 1 interception last year. He allowed 88% of his receptions off of 25 targets. That ain't good. 1 touchdown and 114.2 passer rating. So it seemed like Brandon Jones was more of the guy playing inside the box. 0 pass breakups. He had 18 stops and 5 sacks. Again, for me, Javon Holland and how well he played is the reason I put the Dolphins above the Patriots, and just the future that this kid has and how good he's going to be. And again, I see this as the 1-2 tandem, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do have like a 3 safety set where they have Brandon Jones playing more towards the line of scrimmage and they have Eric Rowe back there with Javon Holland, because Eric Rowe is a very good tight end covering safety. And then obviously the number 1 team is the Buffalo Bills when it came to their safeties. It's just, not only is it the experience, but it's just they have a good tandem back there. And Poyer and Hyde, he had 6 interceptions last year. He did allow 69% of his receptions off of 29 targets. He had 4 touchdowns, and he had an 89.9 passer rating when targeted. Worse than Javon Holland, but not as bad as Brandon Jones. 3 pass breakups, 19 stops, and 1 sack. And then you had Poyer, 5 interceptions, 46.4 pass receptions off of 28 targets. That is the lowest out of all of the safeties. 0 touchdowns given up. He had a 13.7 passer rating when targeted. 13.7 passer rating. That is the average that they took when he was targeted. 13.7 passer rating. That's ridiculous. 5 pass breakups, 19 stops, and 3 sacks. For me, the Bills have the number 1 tandem because of the interceptions between the 2, Hyde and Poyer. 11 interceptions. Passer rating. Like, they just have... They're that tandem, right? We all remember the press conference where he got on the reporter asking stupid questions and all that stuff. The Bills do have the best safety tandem in Hyde and Poyer. And again, I think the Dolphins have the second best in Javon Holland and Brandon Jones. I think Javon Holland is going to be one of the best safeties in the NFL. He showed it off of his rookie year, was the first safety taken in that draft last year, and just showed why that is. And then Patriots with McCourty, Duggar, and then the Jets with Joyner and Whitehead. But comment below. If you disagree with me, comment below. Let me know why. If you agree with me, comment below. I love reading your guys' comments, so be sure to comment below. Let me know. We have one more episode. I'm going to be looking at the special teams, who has the best kicker and punter, and then I'm thinking about doing kick returners, but it's like, it's hard because you don't know who's doing it back there, so it might just be kickers and punters. And that will be the last, AFC East position breakdown. So be sure to comment below, and I'm going to get to comment of the day. Now, this comment comes from Finn's Fan, and in a nutshell, it's a pretty lengthy comment. I tend to not pick lengthy comments because you don't want, I feel bad when I do the articles where I sit there and read to you. Like, what am I, 5? I don't want you to read to me. But this is a good comment. And essentially he says, Doug, do you think the Dolphins did enough to prove the offensive line? And just in a nutshell, he thinks that, the movement that happened and they take the left guard, they put him at center, the right tackle position, all that stuff, it scares him. He thinks that the offensive line is still a weakness, and he wants my opinion of do I think the Dolphins did enough to improve the offensive line. Now, I'm going to go into full detail on that when I break down the offensive line position battle. But to answer the question, because it is a good question, and he did take the time to write it, yes, I do think they did. See, the question is, did they do enough? I do think they improved the offensive line. I think adding Teron Armstead and adding Connor Williams definitely improved the offensive line, because I do think Robert Hunt is going to be really good, and I do think Liam Eichenberg, and I do think that Austin Jackson can be good with the amount of coaching that was added. You've heard me talk about this time and time again, that to me, the biggest downfall for Liam Eichenberg, for Austin Jackson, for Solomon Kinley, for, even Robert Hunt a little bit, he kind of struggled his rookie year, was the coaches that the Dolphins implemented for the offensive line, I think, hurt their development. Now you look at the coaches we have. You have, our offensive coordinator was the O-line coach for the Chargers that went from being the 32nd ranked offensive line to the 10th under him. Huge jump. And then you have Applebaum, who was the Boston College, if my memory is correct, Boston College offensive line coach last year, who had the best offensive line in the nation. Those two guys are on the offense. Obviously, one of them's the offensive line coach, the other is the offensive coordinator. But those two guys are going to really make sure that this offensive line is running properly. You kind of need to with the style of offense we're running, and you kind of need to if you want to really see who Tua Tagovailoa can be. Because you can't do much with a 32nd ranked offensive line. So I do think it's going to be better. I do think that the addition of these coaches is going to make it better. But I need to see it, if that makes any sense, because I'm with you. Last year, I said the offensive line, the wide receivers, and the linebackers worried me, and two of them ended up being worrisome and costing us some wins, potentially, because, again, 4 games Tua wasn't starting, and I think that those two criterias hurt us. This year, I will give you the things that need to step up for us to win. That is a video in itself that will happen. Again, I'm preparing for training camp. These videos are all preparing for training camp. And then once training camp starts and once we get into the preseason, I'm going to start making videos to preview the season. And one of them is positions that need to step up, what we can expect this season, schedule record prediction, expectations for all those teams, all that stuff. So I will talk more about the offensive line when we get into the position breakdown battle. But Finn's fan, thank you so much for the comment. It was a very good comment, and I thought I would answer it. But other than that, guys, I will see you probably tomorrow. I think tomorrow we are going to do running backs when it comes to the camp battle positions. And there's some good running backs that we have. Gaskin, Edmonds, Mostert. Good running back. So this is going to be a good battle that we are going to be talking about. Sonny Michel, unsung hero. But I'll talk about that tomorrow. Other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. And fins up.